What is this? We have Battle Wasp back again to cope it up. Spell card Monster Reborn. Target your opponent's Lancia, summon it to your field, but for just the rest of this turn, it cannot attack nor activate, but then on your opponent's turn, you activate Lancia to wham bam, thank you ma'am against Malice. When Malice uses Lancia against you because they think they're playing a mirror match, but then they lose to their own Lancia. And then they use Call by the Grave, but they can't finger themselves because it's actually their own Lancia, and then they surrender in embarrassment. Let's hop into game one. Let's go.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Fire King Skyburn, discard to summon our Diablo Star here. Diablo Star not getting impermed. With our original Sinful, we're going to send Diablo Star to summon for the deck. Nothing is the Ash negates, except I will finger your Ash. Negate. Well done. We have Crossout Designate held for the impermanence instead. Can't finger the imperm, so we are ready with that as the Snake Eye Ash hits the field. Negate the impermanence. Or upon it. Is this pure Fire King or Diablo Star and Fire King? Okay, sure. Negate the Ponix. Negate the impermanence. Is this the card that's able to have a DD Crow-like effect? If I could click on the card. No, it's another card, right? It is this one. It is the card that says, during the main phase, target one insect in your graveyard, which we do not freaking have, thus we can't use the other part of the effect to target one monster in your opponent's graveyard to then put them on the bottom of the deck. Zombie Vampire is now going to be turning on the Lancer if we have an insect in our grave. Yes, we do. We do have an insect in grave. We also have one that will trigger when banished to send an insect from your deck to the graveyard to further make more plays potentially. We have Poplar searching our deck for a Subversion. A turn 2 card, okay. We have the ability to special summon Negate twice. I don't know if we play Fiendsmith in Paradise with our Crimson Lacrima, which we don't even have. That's pretty much all we have. We ended on Caesar. What the heck? We don't have a way to trigger Garunix because a fire monster has to be destroyed. Ponix add back. We don't have a way to pop the Ponix in hand. If we had a Kieran to pop the Ponix, that would then trigger the Garunix. We're attempting to put the Garunix to the bottom of the deck with the Sting Lancer as the Wave King Caesar. Negates. We have one more disruption. We have the Mantis, banished to summon a baby Mantis token, and in response to the effect to summon a token, we have to directly chain to an insect activating to special summon the Supply Soldier on the field. Supply Soldier during the main phase, you could fusion summon. We don't want a Caesar? We chillin'? Negate the fusion and destroy the monster that's trying to fuse? We're now going to use the Bee Trooper Landing. Add this card to your hand by banishing 2 insects in grave. Resonance Insect. When banished, send from the deck a Goki Pole. Goki Pole is going to search our deck for another Resonance Insect. We're now going to activate the Indestructible Insects, which is going to target 2 monsters on the field, including an insect you control, banishing both of them. Begone, Wave King Caesar, and begone all of our forms of disruption. We're now down to 0. We don't have a way to get the Poplar out of our back row to at least be destroyed by battle or card effect to trigger the Garunix. Oh my Jesus, what went wrong? We have the Bee Trooper Landing, further fusion summoning. We have a fusion summon on a monster effect, fusion summon on a spell. Search our deck for the Scout Buggy. We're going to Armor Horn, banish 3 cards in grave, reborn itself back onto the field. As we're now going to activate the fusion effect to target a banished monster to special summon it back on the field. Resonance is when banished, again for the 3rd time, send an insect from the deck to the grave. As we're now going to Lancer, search for the Fly and Sting. We have Armor Horn, additional summoning the Buggy Scout. As we now summon another Buggy Scout from the deck, we got the Mantis Monk. As we're now going to be banishing from the grave to search our deck for the Hunting Dance. Can we just perform lethal damage here? Scout Buggy into the Kakata King. To battle we go, 5,900 damage. Far from lethal, but how many forms of disruption will we have? Set 3 pass. I could just read all these cards I don't understand, but let's just be surprised. We have Fire King Island activating to pop the Ponix Arvata. The Hunting Dance will be able to target cards your opponent controls to then destroy them. We're targeting just the field spell. Destroy. Fire King Sanctuary, protect from destruction. Thus, my effect is not stopped from searching for a Kieran. Now, Garunix Engrave trigger. Chain Link block with the Arvata. Reborn the Garunix, which could then pop a Kieran from the deck to then non-target pop a card in the field and give us a monster negate. Come forth, Garunix, activate. We have a Kakata King to negate the Garunix play. We're going to chain Kieran to pop. Does this dodge the negate? Let's read this. You detach to target the monster, so the card you're trying to negate, you're not negating the effect itself. So if we have the card leave the field, we are no longer negated. And in response to dodging our negate, we're going to chain Fly and Sting. Negate the activation of an opponent's monster effect, but it says destroy it. And what is Garunix trying to do? Destroy a Kieran from the deck. So now you are destroying my Kieran for me, thank you very much. Which will then reborn Arvata, non-target pop a card in the field, and then give us also a monster negate. Destroy. Let's resolve all this. So we're accomplishing exactly what we wanted with that Kieran being destroyed by the Flying Sting. Kieran is going to be... Kakata King's doing what? Special summon an insect from your hand or graveyard? Sure. Reborn back the Scout Buggy. Non-target wiping away the back row card. The Wisteria of Woe had the effect of summoning this card as a monster. What the heck does this do? Then you could banish up to 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard. What? Okay, that's interesting. I think it was a graveyard banish trap. Now with our monster negate, if we have a monster effect to activate, we'll simply negate it. Do we have at least 2 good monster effects though? Let's read this. If an insect is banished, you could target one of your banished, special summon it. If this card special summon it does something, that's trash. The Mantis Monk, I don't think was even doing anything. Wow, what the heck, B-Trooper? Ain't no way. Let's further go into our sequence. Sequence fuse in the graveyard into our Desiree, non-target negate a card on the field, at least 2 cards, as you have the Arvata, which will be able to not only negate a monster, but trigger Garunix, so then reborn, pop a Kieran, pop another card in the field. So we have negate, negate, and pop a card on the field, mate. Triple disruption. Why do we not have Promethean and Grave? We couldn't figure out a way to get Promethean in cycle? This Forced Crown card is nuts. It could very simply destroy every monster on the field except insects. Destroy all face-up monsters. Let's reborn the Requiem, activate to wipe away the entire field. Kakata King is going to negate the negate. Desiree is going to negate the negate, negating the negate. Negated. Now, Arvata is going to negate, destroy the Ponix mate. We're going to activate the Kieran, summon from the deck our Crimson Tear, send from the deck here, Engraver. What happened to Garunix Pop Kieran? I guess we're waiting for another opportunity to do so. We had the way to trigger our own Garunix to pop Kieran, but now we do not. That was through the Arvata. I think we were thinking, oh crap, we popped a card from our hand. If Garunix reborns, it will block the effect of Kieran because we have 5 bodies. So the mistake was Arvata was supposed to pop Garunix. By not popping Garunix, we now cannot summon Garunix to pop a Kieran. I think that was the situation that we messed up. Soma flip our own monster face down to summon from the deck. We have the Shadow Mosquito. Shadow Mosquito on the attack is going to put a counter onto the Desiree. And now on every attack, burn for 28. Attack again. Burn for 28. And then another attack. Burn for 28, 28, 28, mate. B-Trooper pulling it out of nowhere. Nuts. Engraver. Search our deck for a Kiri. You what, mate? Tracked. So if you want to understand basics of when and how to use a hand trap, well, why would Engraver searching be a bad use of Ash? Well, their goal is to search for a card that could instead be ashed, and it's a hard once per turn, so if they use more than 1 copy by negating the tracked, you know that they can't use another one. But now, you had the option of also going even further. What's the track trying to do? It's trying to get to a point where it activates Requiem to summon from the deck. So while we did cut off access of fuel for the Engraver, they no longer have a Life Fiend Engrave. They still have the open-ended effect of Requiem, which is a hard once per turn, which they can maybe later use. So you do have to make those choices. We reduced their follow-up potential with a riskier play, which now enables them to potentially still go into the Requiem way. Negate. Fiendsmith, Lacrima Reborn, back the Engraver, Wave King Caesar. That's another aspect of when and how to use a hand trap is this the last moment I could even use my hand trap? It may not be the best hand trap, but if they set up some form of mitigation for my hand trap where I can't even use it, which is going to be the case when Ryzeal comes out, where they're going to be able to very easily set up the Ryzeal field spell, and if you only have one Ashe and you waited for them to summon a duo, which the Star Ryzeal now sets up the field spell, saving an Ashe for duo in many cases is not going to be a good idea because of Star Ryzeal. Now, we have Sylvia, negate anything. Wave King Caesar, negate 2 special summons. We have the Amble Whale, which will be able to pop a card in the field. We have the Promethean Princess, which will pop on special summon. We have the Garunix, which will then pop a card in the field through Kirin. So about 6 forms of disruption. Battle Wasp it up. We're going to summon the Battle Wasp something sting. We're going to do another thing. We're going to activate a special summon a Bullseye, Wave King Caesar, negate. Now, the Battle Wasp Wind is on normal or special summon. Do you get to target to add a Battle Wasp from your deck? We have Wave King Caesar negating again, trying to activate the Onslaught. Negate. 4 more forms of disruption left. Slayton with 4 left to go through. We are scooping it up. Let's hop into game 3. Begin. We have the Onslaught activating to discard, place a Battle Wasp Wind from the deck. Then you can special summon this card from your hand. We have Horn, additionally normal summoning, now searching for our own Maxi. You Maxi me? Well, you should, out of 20 cards in your hand, have a way to stop the Maxi I search for. Which we don't? I don't see an out to the Maxi, despite having 18 cards in our hand. What the hell? We're going to Kirin, pop, summon Ponix, summon Grunix from the deck. Ponix on summon's going to be searching our deck for the Fire King Island. We have to now randomly return cards back. Thanks to the Fool loss. Super balanced card. There you go. Wow. Actually returning back. Oh my Jesus. So you have to be +6 to their field. So they have 2 cards. You can only have 8 cards in your hand. Maxi in the draw phase. We're going to Bonfire, search our deck for the Poplar. Activate the Poplar, come forth and summon. As we now Subversion, push your insects into the back row, 6,300 damage on the field. Diablo Star, come forth by discarding the impermanence. Send to the back row as we 8,800 damage to the face with the Nibiru ready at only 2 summons. Lethal damage. Very nice. Well done. All right. Begin. Engraver, searching for the tract. Droll and Lockbird is bad against Fiendsmith, good if Fiendsmith opens up with Engraver searching for tract. Otherwise, if they have a way to summon the Moon of the Closed Heaven, the Droll does nothing. Ash can't search, but it could still send from our back row the Baldrake to summon from the deck a Flameburst, which we put in the back row through the Wedge Temple. We're now going to use the Baldrake to be put back into our back row by the Flameburst, interestingly. We're now going to Zombie Vampire, mill 4 cards off of both players' deck as we inevitably go into the Moon of the Closed Heaven Fiendsmith play. When do we have to Nibiru? Not yet. We're going to equip. Not yet. We're going to Reborn the Engraver. We don't have to Nibiru yet. A reason why you could want to Nibiru here is if you fear that they're going to summon a Chaos Angel. That could be a reason. We're not playing Chaos Angel, and we didn't have any cards banished if they were going to go into a Dissipator, which they can't anyway. So was this going to turn into a form of negate on Nibiru? No. Nibiru, tribute off the field. All right, what is good? Set triple back row pass. You have Super Poly, Call of the Grave, and Droplet, triple disruption. Fiendsmith tracked, searching for the Lurie. Will we finger the Lurie while the Engraver could just Reborn afterward? We're still going to finger the Engraver instead. Negate and banish. You should wait for the Engraver to activate because it would at least return a Light Fiend Engrave back on the deck, which reduces the resources that they have Engrave, as they now make a Fiendsmith sequence. Sequence is going to get Forbidden Dropleted. Negate the Fusion Summon play. Now, if we look at a card like we don't have Promethean in our extra deck, I was going to check if it requires effect monsters only. As we now search for our Poplar. Poplar, when searched for, will be triggering to summon itself onto the field. We already used up our normal summon. As we search for our Divine Temple, we cannot use Super Poly, obviously. As we're now going to Snake-Eyed Dalbastar, reborn itself from the backer after being set from the deck. As we now go into a Little Knight. We're not going to Little Knight Banish because we would then lose our battle phase to attack directly. As we summon our Doom Dragon to push the Nibiru into the backer with over 11,000 damage on the field. Oh my Jesus. Let's hop into game 2. Begin. Sylveon summon. Ash is going to negate. Ash is very good against LZ. LZ is discarding a spell or trap card to then summon and search. We're going to Deception Sinful, get rid of the Lancia. We don't need you. Activate the Max C as we now follow up with the Hallowed Azamina. Still going into Rosala Go instead of a Sylvia while under the effect of Max C. Rosala Go, let's go into the LZ. This is not the LZ I was talking about using Ash on. Bro, what is going on? How do we not care about Max C? How do we not Sylvia pass? Sylvia Valor pass. Magnum Hunt's going to banish away the LZ Engrave, as the Magnum Hunt now searches in the end phase for a Bestial Libellion. Deception Sinful resets itself back in the field. Now, I'm not familiar with this card. What the heck is this? I mean, it looks pretty damn good, and we already have her, but we're going to get the other version of her. Take a level 5 or higher illusion from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it, and you can banish this card from the graveyard. Target one face-down card you control returns to the hand, then you could set this. What? Is this even a form of disruption? What are we going to be summoning off of this? We do have the Sinful Spoil, which will be able to summon possibly a Guardian Chimera to be a form of disruption. Otherwise, Spellcaster, Illusion. So that could, in fact, fuse into a Sylvia, right? I guess we could Sylvia and Valor, possibly. Double disruption. We're going to find out what this is going to... Diabels. This is kind of a mini floodgate. This is another form of disruption. It actually is disruptive. Your opponent must set spell and trap cards before activating them. Thus, the quick play spells are just not usable. And if a spell or trap card becomes set, you could trigger the effect to pop a card your opponent controls. Any card your opponent controls. So we have a pop. We got our fusion. Is this Sylvia? Saint Azamina. If this was fusion summon this turn, we could then summon the Sylvia. So we have the Floodgate plus Pop, Sylvia negate anything, plus a Valor, triple disrupt. Also, the Saint Azamina is quite interesting. Your opponent cannot target their own cards. If that's a part of any of your combos, which Rocket Tracer, what does it do? It targets your own card to pop to then summon from the deck. You now can't do that against the Saint Azamina. I'm assuming we're playing that because I see a Ravine. Jerusalem banished away the Lancia. We can't banish our own cards. Libellion is here. Jerusalem getting rid of the Sylvia. We're now down to double disruption. As we further go into a Moon of the Closed Heaven, Lacrima Fusion cannot target Engraver Engrave. Requiem cannot target Engraver on the field. Does that really matter? Let's see. So we can't target with Lacrima Fusion. Bro is about to go into Lacrima Fusion to find out. He's about to find out. We Valor negate. He will not find out. What the heck? I want to see it. Okay. Saint Azamina. I realize that Saint Azamina reflects all battle damage, including your other monsters. When someone tried to swing a Saint Azamina and an LZ into me online, I still won that duel out because I banished away his monster before he could do it. Return back with the Regained as we now make our Dissipator mates. We had the Rocket Tracer, which, remember, we could not pop our own card to summon from the deck. As we further set into an original Sinful into the back row, as we now have our Wedju Temple, double bodies into the back row, original Sinful, send the field spell, summon from the deck into a Snake Eye Ash. I mean, what are we really thinking here? This is over. Right? Push! Diablos in the back row. How do we out this, though? Steal the Lancia. 4,000 defense that cannot be targeted. Cannot target your own cards. You also can't target this card. I can't Little Knight you. What do we do? What the heck do we... How do we stop this? Apollo does not stop it. Oh my gosh, we passed. We can't. This is how you stop it. When an attack is declared involving this card in the opponent's monster, you could non-target push their Saint Azamina into the back row. That is an out. Super Poly. Hollowed Azamina is going to give us another card potentially into our back row. Wow, stealing the Diabels ensures that Super Poly cannot be used. We now have to set it. And if we set it, then the Diabels could pop it. Now, Diabels, does she target? You do have to target, thus you can't target the... Wait, you can't target your own card, actually. So you can't even use the Diabels effect to get popping. Dispater. Negate. The Sylvian Grave trying to reborn. Set Super Poly, could not trigger to pop it. And now if we try to set up a way to deal with the Saint Azamina, we could just fuse that fool away. Sylvia again is attempting to reborn back onto the field here. Dispater is not going to negate. We do have a monster negate on top of 3 more monster negates. Come forth Engraver. Into sequence. Technically, against any scenario where you can't out their field, you could loop burn with Lacrima for, what, a bunch of turns in a row until you win. Super Polymerization, fuse with the field, fusing with the Diabels and the Sylvie to make our Sylvia to negate anything, which will then just be negated by Apollo or Dispater. Sylvia, negate the sequence. Apollo, negate the negate. Bro, does he... All I have to do is summon this and swing in, right? That's it. Diablo Star for game. Borland Dragon can't even negate Saint Azamina, and we can't even take it out. Does he know? We're gonna steal the LZ? What? Bro, you have the outs. This is the outs. Place this and the opponent's monster without targeting. The out is right there. He doesn't know. Okay, we have negate, 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 negate. We got negates for days, mate. Apollo, negate the Russia. How long does this go on for? Oof, 27 to the face. We're now in the Conco deck. What the? Bro, we had game. Saint Azamina and Russia attack for game. We could have won right there. Oh my Jesus. Right, it's not the first time we take damage. It's just any damage. Reboard the Engraver. Is this what it's like to play against Makonko? Just flailing your arms? We have no out. We think we have no outs. Our out's now gone. Where'd it freaking go? We're going to... Okay, we're going to burn for 1,200 every turn. Sure. Come forth into Masquerena, end the turn. I cannot freaking believe this. Now it's an attack position. You can't target my Saint Azamina. Could you not link off with your Borland? That's the big body. You gotta get the big body off the field. Oh my Jesus. How did we win that? That is crazy. Libellion. We're just gonna Lancia right here, right now. You could wait for the resolution because they can't chain a Bestial to the Lancia due to you having no monster in the field. But Call to the Grave. Fingered the Lancia. Now, Lancia obviously is good enough to get fingered, thus we now know it, in fact, was disruptive enough, worthy of negating, as we now Libellion search, but we now gonna have to play around a Nibiru. Engraver, discard searching for the Tract. Tract is going to be searching for Lurie to essentially summon it onto the field. And now we're at 1 summon into the Requiem. Summon from the deck into our Crimson Tier, third summon. Banish into the Magnum Hut. Come forth into Libellion. We had the option to Nibiru before they could set up the Regained, and we chose not to do so. Sequence is going to be activating. We're going to fuse the graveyard into our Fiendsmith Lacrima. On the resolution of this, we have to Nibiru. Or now we don't. Now I could wait. You can't make an Apollo, you can't make a Wave King Caesar, so we can keep on going. That, if we were afraid of that going into an Apollo, but I'm sure that we were confident that was not going to happen. We're going to Striker Dragon, pop, add back the Rocket Tracer. We already used up our normal summon. We do have the Boot Sector launch to launch it onto the field. Further going into a Little Knight, which is not a negate on Nibiru, but it does help mitigate Nibiru by banishing your own monster until the end phase to dodge Nibiru. We're going to Boot Sector, launching the Rocket Tracer onto the field, pop to now go into a Boar Load. Is it too late to Nibiru? It's not. You can chain Nibiru to the Boar Load activating before it gains its negate. It cannot negate yet. So before it gains its negate, we're going to chain Little Knight to banish to dodge the Nibiru, but the Boar Load comes back with no negates. It'll just be a body on the field. Sure. We have not even summoned our Diablo Star yet. Diablo Star, discard from the hand, summon, set up the original Sinful. Engraver, return back the Lacrima to reborn from Engrave. Sequence, equip onto the Engraver to send the sequence with the original Sinful to summon a Snake Eye Ash. Ash, add for the deck Poplar. Snake Eye Dragon Link. As we search for the Snake Eye Temple, put into the back row our Snake Eye Diablo Star. We now have Masquerina. Let's put the Poplar in the back row, send Poplar in the Ash, summon from the deck of Flameburst. Flameburst is going to put the Magnum Hut into our back row. We're going to be reborning our Snake Eye Diablo Star, turning the whole field into a Borland Dragon. Borland Dragon can negate a monster to then reborn a monster from Engrave. Our disruptions are going to be negate plus banish a monster from the field. We could Baldrake banish from their graveyard, then banish a monster summoned from their extra deck. At least 4 forms of disruption. Now, if this were a Malice deck, the Regained would be a disruption. If you in any way banish your Malice, it would then trigger to, on the higher chain link Regained, would return it back into the deck. Only on the Malice player's turn, though. Chain the Temple to reborn the Magnum Hut from the back row. We're going to Borland, negate the Sylvie. Sure. Magnum Hut here, activate to search for a dragon in the end phase. We're going to be discarding to summon our Diablo Star. Diablo Star on summon is going to be allowing the Little Knight to chain to the effect to banish away the Sylvie. We don't want that level 4 tuner on the field. As we set up the Deception Sinful. Regained, return back the Sylvie, drawing into a Lancia. We're going to use Deception Sinful, tribute off Nibiru to search our deck for Elzette. Elzette very much wanted the Sylvie to be on the field. Instead, we already have the Hallowed Azamina. Baldrake's going to banish away the Nibiru, ensuring that the Baldrake can banish whatever is summoned from the extra deck. Send the Deception, summon Risala Go. Go on summon. We're going to trigger the Baldrake to banish the Risala Go. And just like that, we are out of disruption. Now, the Borland cannot be destroyed by battle, cannot be destroyed by card effects, cannot be targeted by monster effects. If you do have an impermanence, you can target it. We're going to Wanted Seeker, return back Deception Sinful, draw into another Lancia. See what Malice is doing to the game? I have Lancia, you have Lancia. Lancia sucks, but we have to play it. Let's wipe away their monster in the battle phase with the Diablo Star taking out the Magnum Hunt as they search for a Wyvern Burster in the end phase, so the Lancia is actually not that bad against his deck. We are going to Borland, reborn the Rocket Tracer, as we further go into a Dissipator, which can now negate the Lancia. Did Lancia get fingered or something? No. Now we are going to be activating the Lancia after they already banished to summon the Wyvern Burster, thus we couldn't even stop that play. As we now further go into a Fiendsmith Engraver. To battle, we go with over 13,000 damage on the field. Diablo Star is going to reborn itself back onto the field if sent to the grave during the opponent's turn. Triggering in the damage step to then set up into the back row a card that will not be usable. Let's further clean up this duel. Wyvern Burster for game. Very nice. Well done to both of you. Thank you. Did we throw the duel by not using Lancia? No. We were going to lose either way. Straight up, it was done.